Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this year's session of All Things Social Media. Myself, Nabihah, and Ziyaad will be your MCs and facilitators of this panel discussion with this awesome lineup of speakers. Before we introduce ourselves, I have a list of house rules. I'm sure you guys will follow them. Okay, please keep your phones on silent. Please remain seated until the end of the session. Please try not to make a noise during the session. If you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand. And most importantly, enjoy yourself. We would like this to be an interactive and engaging session, so if you do have a question, you can raise your hand and ask one of the speakers. Okay, everyone
Are
looks
there any
like...
questions?
Everyone looks like they just ate and they had a long day. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Instead of asking you to raise your hand, if this applies to you, please stand up so we can get your blood circulating and keep you on your toes. Okay. So who in this room is currently vlogging? You guys?
Oh,
We don't ask.
Okay.
Yeah. I think in this room. So no one in the audience is currently vlogging?
No.
No.
Not actively doing it.
Okay, you guys can sit down, thank you. Who has, who wants to start vlogging? That's a good mix, okay. And then who knows nothing, absolutely nothing about vlogging? There we go. Okay, that's a nice mix. I like this mix. Okay, so, okay, let's get started. I'm Nabihah, as I stated. I'm the co-founder of iloveza.com. I'm also a writer. I contributed one of my short stories to a book called Saffron, a collection of personal narratives by Muslim women. I think it's on sale here in the dining hall, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Ziyaad. I'm a social media junkie. Okay, sorry. So I'm also the co-founder of iloveza.com. I do most of the digital content for the platform.
Okay, now we're going to get to our panelists. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, and then I'll ask them a question. Okay, so they can just expand on themselves. We'll start with Zakiyya Patel. Zakiyya Patel is an entrepreneur, the founder of the Cherry Tub brand, mom, wife, and an unshakable optimist dedicated to bringing her vision of design to life. So Zakiyya, we see that you were in the physiotherapy field.
Yeah.
And then you moved to start your fashion brand. Tell us why.
Okay. I think when we're younger, we so often want to just stick to norms and just do what we think everybody else will approve of. And so I went into what I thought was going to be something that would fulfill me in terms of like my creative side. Going into it by like the second or third year, I already knew, look, I'm going to finish the course, but it's not something that's going to give me any joy and fulfillment later on in life. And after doing that, that's when I started delving into more of what I enjoyed and more of what gave me happiness at the end of the day. It's something that you can wake up every morning and you love doing it. So not to take away from the fact that you have to have something that you can take with you later on, but this is what like drove me. This is what I woke up every morning thinking about, and that's why I changed direction.
Okay. So you did finish your course?
Yeah, I didn't do the 2 years. You know, you got to do the 2 years internship. I didn't. I left that and just jumped straight into design.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's interesting. Dilshad is a graphic designer and blogger by day and supermom and master chef by night. She has a blog called Hungry for Halal. She's also a fellow contributing author to the book called Saffron. Dilshad, how long have you been blogging for?
I've been blogging since 2011.
Wow, that's a long time, eh?
It's
8 years now.
No, what was that?
No.
8 to 9 years.
Yeah.
8 years.
8
You're right.
years. Okay.
So as a hobby,
Okay.
it started out as a pure hobby,
And
and it kind of transformed itself into a business, into an income generating business in the end. But it wasn't it wasn't necessarily the vision in the beginning for it to become a business. It was a side thing, and it was a way to express my creativity by writing. Because I was already expressing my creativity as a designer, as a graphic designer, because I went into design, and I spent 15 years in graphic design before I actually started blogging. No, I spent about 12 years in graphic design before I started blogging. And I'd always wanted to write. It was always sort of in the back of the... I remember in high school I used to write this horrible angstig poetry. That high school poetry that's always about a boy that never reciprocated your feelings. And there was, I always felt from then there was a novel inside me or a book inside me somewhere. And it was always in the back there. And then eventually I started seeing that there was... So my niche is writing restaurant reviews. So that's how I started. I started writing restaurant reviews, and my focus is the halal space. And I would have never thought that my expression into writing would have started or culminated into writing reviews, and that is how I would have gotten into the writing space. But that was how I literally got into the writing space, was by starting to write restaurant reviews.
Okay, so you've been doing this for a long time, and we notice in the audience there are people who don't know anything about blogging. Can you please share to them what exactly is a blog? What is it about? What is doing a blog all about?
Okay, so the way I would put it is that a blog can be something very personal. It can also be something very functional. You might want to put your own experiences out there. Let's say you're a mother that had trouble with a difficult childbirth, or a child that had learning difficulties, or and that is your area of focus, and that is what you know about, and you want to help other parents and mothers out there with the information that you've learned. And you kind of, you catalog your experiences in order to put information out there for someone else. And, that could be the subject of your blog, and that could be the intention of your blog. On the other hand, your intention could be to put information out there, like I did. My vision was, or at least I saw that there was a gap in the information space for information about halal restaurants. There was a lot of blogging about normal restaurants and just the whole hospitality space, but finding information about halal restaurants was a real challenge. So I decided that I would start blogging about my experiences at halal restaurants, and also start giving the information about where to find them, are they halal, are there discrepancies. So that would help other Muslim people that are interested in finding halal also, have the information at hand. So mine started as a bit more of a, not a personal, it wasn't a personal thing that I was putting out there, it was more like a resource that I started putting out there. So it's really, then you can also want to start a blog for the sake of making money. And then you start a blog with valuable information. So it's information of value rather than valuable information, sorry. So it's really information that people will benefit from, that people will keep coming back to your blog for. Recipes, for instance, there are bloggers out there that have, and that's probably the biggest area of blogging is recipe bloggers. And you get enough traffic on your blog, and you can actually make money by selling AdSense adverts on your blog. I mean, there are bloggers that are making lots of money just off advertising, but it takes a long time to build up that kind of revenue. I think there's a misconception that it's easy money. It's not easy money. There are not a lot of bloggers that only blog to make money. Most bloggers have a second job, and that's the reality of blogging.
Most writers.
Most writers as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and Melleny Smith, is a university student who reads almost 200 books a year.
Sure.
Is that true? Yeah, I can't even read like one book.
Oh, that is
inspiration. Okay, Melleny has a blog called A Booktropolis. Melleny, can you please tell us the reason behind you starting a Booktropolis?
I think the biggest thing was a couple of years ago when I think the booktube phenomenon, which is where people talk about books on YouTube, became so popular, and then blogs kind of took that step back because YouTube was like big, shiny, brand new. And I was sitting here in South Africa going, but all these people are American or from the United States, United Kingdom, and it was just nothing felt personal. I couldn't relate to them because the books that they had wasn't the books that we would have available here in South Africa. So for me, the biggest part was trying to make this gap of having nowhere to look for reviews for books that are available here and that we can connect to, being like South African books in themselves, and what overseas books actually find their way here. I thought, you know what, why not start one? I like reading, I've always read, and it was just like an impulsive decision. I had just typed up on WordPress, a quick URL, and there I started, and then from there it just kicked off.
Okay, so tell us, any one of you, which started first, the blog or the social media?
It's really the blog.
The blog. So the website starts first, and then you create a social media page. So how does one go about starting a social media presence?
Okay. I'll keep going. So firstly, if you've got a blog, you're writing something every day or week or month, depending. When I started, I was writing every month, and that's like, okay, it's unheard of now to actually write as little as once a month. A lot of bloggers write daily, but I think it's manageable to write weekly. Because then you can actually write well-researched things, or you can write, I think you write better articles when you write less. So, firstly, you have to have information to share. If you want to be on social media, if you want to create a presence on social media, you have to have something to share. So you start with your blog, you write a few articles, and then you decide where your presence is most, where you think your presence will be best received. Maybe Facebook is best, maybe Twitter is best, maybe Instagram is best. If your content is very visual, like let's say it's recipes or it's fashion, Instagram is really where you want to be. If you're writing about finance and banking, and then maybe Twitter is where you want to be, and Facebook is where you want to be. So it really depends on your content. Instagram is very visual, and it has a younger audience. Facebook has a bit of an older audience, but it's also got a nice balance of old and young.
Instagram has a
Good balance. So
young and old, because there's quite a few people who follow us who are like grannies.
It definitely has, but if you look at the interaction between Facebook and Instagram, you will definitely see that the demographic on Facebook is older than on Instagram. It's younger. And statistically also, there's ways to find this information. I mean, it's all over the internet. You just have to Google the kind of stats that you can find about Instagram audiences and Facebook audiences. And then the other thing is also to choose where you want to be. Sometimes being on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is too much.
yeah.
And it takes a lot of time to try and manage all those platforms.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of sometimes have to choose.
So what we're getting here is that you don't have to be on every platform.
Yes.
You don't.
Okay.
So which platforms are you guys on?
Okay, well, I use Facebook and Instagram. I don't, because mine is so visual, that I'm in a sector where we sell clothing, so the actual picture is going to sell itself. So for me to be on Twitter would be a waste of my time. I mean, it would maybe give me some sort of traction, but at the end of the day, what that energy that I can put into Facebook and Instagram is wasted by me spending time on Twitter. So you need to understand your audience and understand who you're targeting, And if you know who your target market is, you know which platform to sit on the most.
So you're talking about, you're talking about your fashion brand.
Yeah.
So you're on Instagram and Facebook a lot. And do you get a professional photographer to take your photos, or do you take it?
Well, no. He's there. I mean, obviously you learn, you've got to train him. So in the beginning, what I used to do is everything would be taken through a mirror. Like literally, I would just stand in front of the mirror and take it. And then as your business progresses, you start evolving. And you start recognizing what needs to be tweaked and needs to be changed in order for your business to grow. But at the same time, the whole point of being able to run a business of social media is the fact that you can keep costs low and you can maximize the way your business grows at a very fast pace by doing that. So there are a lot of people who would jump into just hiring a photographer and getting sets done and whatever, but the more you can work around that, the faster you're going to be able to grow your business. And so he will do. So we've started working with like playing around with photography and stuff, and it works. I get what needs to be done, and I don't have to pay him.
You're your own model.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the biggest thing about social media is that as long as you have a quality phone,
Yeah.
you can take a picture anywhere, anyhow. You don't need
to
Yeah.
spend so much of money.
And you
do
can
that.
self-train. I mean, there are so many free YouTube videos. I know YouTube is, kind of daunting because of all the videos, but if you just search how to take a flat lay, there are so many videos that you can watch who are from professional photographers who are saying, you don't need this fancy camera, but this is how you lead your audience. Because the whole point is, if you're kind of creating the subtext where you are saying you should go and buy something, for example, you're kind of leading them, going, say, for example, this water bottle, you put it in a position where there's like a cup or something, so that makes it attractive, because water, everyone knows what water is. You can buy it anywhere, you can get it in your house, but the whole point is you want to try and sell something to someone. It doesn't necessarily have to have monetary value, but you're selling something. You're selling your view or you're selling a product. And that's something you always have to remember. The more visually appealing something is, the more likely someone's going to interact with it. It doesn't necessarily have to be all flowery and pretty, but if it just attracts the eye, you've got an audience, which I think is really, really great.
I think we mustn't underestimate the value of a good photo as well.
Yes.
I think it's fine to take your own photos, and everybody can do it. Everybody's got a great camera nowadays, but train yourself to do it well. Because a good photo with decent lighting, I mean, just knowing where the lighting should come from and not shooting into the light, for instance. Just small things. Just knowing the basics about taking a good photo will make a big difference to the quality of your shot.
So what you guys are saying is you try to work around using social media tools
Yeah.
and professionals. So none of you have ever used any social media tools?
Yes, I use a tool called Hootsuite. So if you, let's say, we did say choose which platforms you want to be on. Hootsuite, like an HWT, yes, you're right. There's other apps like Buffer, there's Lately, there's a few that are out there, but I use Hootsuite. So what Hootsuite allows you to do is, so I don't have time to do a post for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram like separately and randomly. I use the Hootsuite to schedule my posts. So I can do my posts up front, and I can schedule the same post across all 3 platforms. And I just need to tweak the Twitter one is usually the one I need to tweak because it needs to be shorter than the others. So it saves me a lot of time scheduling posts, and in that way I'm able to be on all 3 platforms. If I were doing it without Hootsuite, I'd have to drop one of them at least. So that's one of the tools I use.
Okay, but we have spoken about the different platforms having different audiences.
Yes.
So how do you tweak that when you're doing it all on one app for all 3 platforms?
I find that in each space, you will have a certain amount of people that are interested in your subject. So even on Twitter, even though my subject is food and eating out, even on Twitter there's a small percentage of people that are interested in food and eating out. And Twitter is not my most valuable space, but I feel that I have to be there so that I don't miss out on that audience. So I don't change it up that much. All I do is make it shorter. And funny enough, even on Twitter, people respond more to the visual, to the posts that have a visual, that have a beautiful image, than the posts that have only text. So at the end of the day, visual speaks louder on all platforms. But Twitter has a different purpose. I'm there only because I have a small audience there, and I don't want to miss that audience out. But I'm not going to lose a huge chunk of my audience if I drop Twitter. But I'm able to be there because I use Hootsuite.
I hear a lot about Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Do any of you ever delve into YouTube or even LinkedIn?
I started with YouTube a little bit. It's not, it takes time. The one thing about YouTube is it takes time, and you want to do good videos on YouTube. You don't really want to do videos that are very obviously like amateur and
IGTV.
Yeah. So I'm careful with YouTube at the moment. I started with it, but I'm just starting with it now. So
So would you say to someone who's starting to blog what to go into first? Or is it
Go into what's easiest to build quickly,
Yes.
or to get your name out there quickly.
And what
So
would you say?
it's easiest to jump onto Facebook and Instagram to get recognized. It's got the most amount of viewership. You've got a platform where using your hashtags, using promotions, you can so quickly build a name for yourself that's going to take much longer using any other platform.
the other thing about promotions, I think we've also got to just touch on the whole idea of promoting and boosting posts in Facebook and Instagram. So in the past, it was easier to reach a larger audience via Facebook, especially Facebook. But Facebook over the years, let's say over the last five, 6 years, Facebook changes their algorithms all the time, and that means that they change how they expose posts to people. And over the last few years, it's become more and more difficult to reach more people. So they kind of push you into spending money to boost your post. I mean, they got to make their money as well, I suppose. But you'll find that even if you spend like 100 Rand on boosting a post, that you'll get triple or quadruple the reach you'd normally get on your post. And that can help you grow your audience faster. It can get your name out there faster. So sometimes it's worth like having a budget. If you want to grow your blog, if you want to grow your audience for the sake of making money, then maybe have a little bit of a budget. It's a small budget, 100 Rand, 200 Rand a month to start out with, and just choose a post to boost every month. Whether it's on Facebook or on Instagram, it does make a big difference.
And then in terms of choosing, I think when it comes to boosting your post, you want to choose the best ones that ask for the most interaction, because that's also what the algorithm does. It looks for how people interact, because liking a post these days is not enough. You need people to comment. So if you have something in your photo, especially in your visual, that kind of entices people to respond. So even in your caption, if you have something called the question of the day, it can be random, but it still needs to relate to your picture. That kind of increases your interaction, and then your post gets seen by more people. And the use of hashtags is so important. Instagram does something called a shadow ban of these hashtags. So if you use something too frequent, your post won't get seen with that hashtag. So you want to really, when you're looking at hashtagging your post, you want to look at something specific. You want to make it tailored to that post. You have your general ones. So like, for example, I do books on Instagram. I have my typical books, hashtag bookstagram, hashtag bookstagram essay, like those random, everyone gets to see those kinds of ones, but you want to be very specific with what you're hashtagging. So if it's a very popular book or a very popular topic perhaps even, you want to hashtag that, because when you boost something, people who have liked similar hashtagged photos, they will see your boosted post. And also I think the biggest thing about boosted posts is that not necessarily, your audience won't necessarily see that. So people who are already following you probably won't see that boosted post as much as the people who haven't been following you are seeing it. So that's what the boost does. It shows your photo and your content to people who don't follow you already.
And that's how you grow.
Yes.
That's how you grow your audience and your followers.
So you were chatting about the algorithms and the whole changes with Facebook and Instagram. And I'm not sure if you're aware of they're going to now remove the likes.
Yes.
So they've rolled it out in Australia and New Zealand where they've said due to mental health issues, people have been feeling kind of down by looking at their phone all the time and only getting 1 or 2 likes, and other people are getting thousands of likes. So they're going to remove it completely. So when you like a post, you just like it and no one else can see that it's being liked. So is this good news or bad news, and how does it affect the monetizing of your blog?
It's really good news, and people need to move away from the fact that a like means that you're doing good. Do you know what I'm saying? Do a post, do it because you want to, post frequently, be consistent in what you do, and stop worrying about all the other things that are out of your control. So often, a post that will have the least amount of likes will be the product of mine that I'm going to sell the most of. It does not, it's people, yeah, you stop yourself from posting because of how many likes you're going to get, or what people may assume of it, or the reaction. And that's why removing the likes takes away that altogether and just allows you to be free with your posting. And I think it will be a beneficial thing for most people.
I think the only difficult part about the likes being removed is that you need to stay on top of your media kit. So if you're doing something where you're featuring a lot of products, not necessarily your own, but other people's products, other things, you need to be aware that a media kit is basically just where you say what's going on, like how many people are following you, what is your interaction like.
You will still be able to see.
You'll see that. You'll be the one seeing that. So when a company approaches you perhaps and says, hey, we want to do something with you, you want to stay on top of your game with your media kits. You want to have that information ready to go because they can't see it. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know how many people are liking. They can perhaps see how many people have commented. But I like the idea that, as you said, you're kind of moving away from that validation. If you're happy with your picture, that should be enough for you.
Okay, so you're talking about the companies approaching you. Does that happen often, or do you have to reach a certain stage before companies start approaching you? And is that how you make money from your social media?
Well, I think if you want to start making money out of your social media, out of your blog, the onus is on you to start approaching companies. I think sitting around waiting for them to approach you, you're going to be waiting unless you've reached hundreds and thousands of followers, and people are falling over themselves to throw a product at you. It's not going to happen. You really have to put yourself out there. You are responsible for your own marketing. As a brand or as a blogger, you are responsible for your own marketing, and unless you approach people, and you're going to approach hundreds of people, and only a small percentage of them are going to come back to you and say, okay, we want to work with you. Not everybody is falling over themselves to work with you, because you might not be the right fit for their brand. You might not be the right age, you might not be the right look, you might not be the right style. There's lots of criteria that especially the bigger brands look for that they want to work with when they work with bloggers. And you are actually going to have to put your media kit together, make it look good, and send it out to as many PR companies and brands as you can. And you want to work with the brands that you believe in as well. I think that's a biggie, is try and work with the brands that you yourself buy into and that hold value for you, because then that becomes authentic on your platforms as well. And authenticity is very important to people that read blogs. People that read blogs follow blogs because they see these as authentic opinions of people they can trust. So keep the brands that you work with as authentic as possible to you.
And also, don't just randomly approach a brand. If you're doing food, don't approach a hair product company. That is so random, they're not going to send you anything.
Yes.
And I think also what you have to be aware of is that people are, like, as you said, they're going to reject you most of the time. And not sometimes, as you said, there's different things. Sometimes it has to do with the following, the look, and so on. So you have to kind of move past that. You just send it out.
But have a thick skin. I think to a certain extent as a blogger, you've got to have a bit of a thick skin to keep at it.
Most definitely, I definitely agree with that. And also, one of the biggest things that I have learned when I do approach companies is approach them with a plan. It's so easy to say, hey, I exist, please send me things. But if you approach them and say, this is what I think would work really well with this product, this is what I'm planning. If you're planning a series range, that would be really, really great because that always means that you have people coming back. But you need to go to them with a plan. If you don't have a plan, they're going to look at you as like someone who's trying to freeload off of them.
Yeah. I think like people get a lot of, brands get a lot of bloggers approaching you like that.
Yes.
You know, send me product, I'll do a review. You've got to offer something back. You've got to have something to offer, number one. So you have to have a following. The following has got to be decent. You can't approach a brand unless you have, you know, and you know, quantifying the following is difficult because you might have 20,000 followers, but they're not that highly engaged. But you might have a blog that has 10,000 followers or 5,000 followers, but they are highly engaged. You need to be able to say, I've got 1,000 followers, but 50% of that are highly engaged followers. Then even a big brand will be willing to work with you. You've got to show engagement, and that means interacting with your audience. That means asking questions on your post. That means somehow getting them to speak to you, talk to you, and that also means authenticity.
Am I understanding that you use blogging to sell somebody else's product?
No, not always. Sometimes.
You're talking about brands.
Sometimes, yes. It depends. Let's say I'm a blogger that blogs about hairstyling, and I'm passionate about all things to do with hair and hairstyles. And I approached a company like, what's the hair? Yeah, and I approached one of them to say, guys, I've got this huge audience, would you be interested in working with me? And I can give your product some exposure. But if you want to make money off your blog, that's how you would do it.
I have 2 books.
Yes.
And both of them have been described as contributing to an understanding of the Indian community in South African struggle from 1914, 4 generations, starting from Latin and Billy. And I have a second book. I've been looking after my wife for the last 5 years through Alzheimer's and went through a terrible time. And I've got a second book that I've just finished called The Other Side of Darkness. I just want to share the story of the Indian people in South Africa and Australia from nothing to something, and also want to share my own experience. I also got traumatized and went into depression, psychologist, and came out of it. So all I want to do is share that. Is the blogging the way to go?
It's one way to go. Yes.
I mean, I've written the 2 books, and I'm self-published.
Okay.
And
So
so
it's
I'm
on the
not getting
shelves.
no, I'm
It's not on the
self-publishing.
shelves.
Is it, sorry, question,
Yeah,
available online somewhere?
no,
Like
It's
Amazon?
not yet
nothing
available.
like that.
It's
But
not
you
I
want
don't
to-
know anything about those things.
Okay.
I don't know how to. I had a very bad publisher the first time, and yeah, the book is called Coolie Come Out and Fight,
Wow.
and it's about the struggle of coolies in South
Yes.
Africa.
Yes.
Was it
And-
selling from the dining hall?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
And the other one that is still to be published is endorsed by the National Alzheimer's Association. They write in a foreword and endorse it. and that will be published whenever ready.
If I
How
can
do I
ask,
do it on Facebook?
these two ways. You've already got a book, right? 2 books, and they've already been published, right? They're already available to be bought. You don't have to start a blog about it, but if you start an active social media campaign, or start being really active about the books.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
Social media campaign.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be a blog. I should know
It
the
doesn't
difference.
have to be a blog.
Like what? Like Facebook, for
Yes.
example.
Yes.
And Instagram.
And
You said
Instagram
these two.
and
It
Twitter.
is in
And
Twitter as well.
Twitter, because there are a lot of readers on Twitter.
Yes,
A lot of
yes.
readers on Twitter. So
What
I
he's
would
looking
say
for is maybe something to even get it trending as well.
Yes,
isn't
yes,
it?
yes.
So Twitter, you would use Twitter to make something trend if you want, if you want people to know about it all at once, But you should also build it up. Can you guys give him some examples?
Maybe partner with somebody. You see, like she does already.
Yes.
So someone that's already doing the
That
book
could promote
reviews,
it.
that could promote
People
it
in
for
the
you.
publishing space.
So she's got a following already, and it would be easier for her to then reach those people that might be interested in you.
That sounds very good, because at 83, I don't have the energy.
You look like a very young 18.
Yeah, and my wife takes up a lot of time. We have caregivers there, but it's a lot of white space. So a professional that already has a following, I'd be very happy and privileged to partner. All I want to do is to tell them where it's available, because I was told to change the name. It's too abrasive, and I refuse to change the name.
It's
It doesn't give the same
I
effect.
refuse to change the
Yeah,
name.
it's catchy.
So I
Will
remove
it come out and find as a hashtag? We'll definitely get attention. Yeah, you train that.
Twitter campaigns that we can
You
do.
train that.
Yeah.
So if I could do that, then
How many-
I would take a little excerpt from the book. Like there's a
Yeah.
chapter called Stop When I Shoot When the Police Was Chasing Me. That would be a catchy little paragraph or two.
And share that on social media and start talking about the book.
Are you on social media?
No.
Okay, so that's where you need to start.
At 83, I've been involved in. I was there when we were still doing typewriters. And they're all automatic typewriters.
Okay, so there's
Before your time.
the options you have is you either take the time to create a social media presence, and they were speaking about it takes some time, or you could look at an easier way and partnering with.
It doesn't even have to be partnering, Yes, partnering is one way, but also single out people or single out bloggers that do book reviews, that speak to the audiences that you think will be interested in your book. Send them a book and let them review it. Ask them if they would write you a review.
Just like one thing on that also, to get it out, WhatsApp is a very good thing to get out the book like that. Last week, I got 3 messages on FITAS. I think the uncle is probably talking about FITAS as well, people staying there and everything. So there was a viral message gone out. My auntie in London sent me a message about people taking FITAS. So, you just get somebody to post it. It will go to so many different groups. In this room alone, you'll probably get to about 300 or 400 different groups. But 30 people inside, you're looking at about 2,000-3,000 people reading, just sharing that. So if you're doing it on WhatsApp, and then you partner with any one of you guys, or you just put it on your Instagram story, on your Insta story, or your Facebook story, or something, and there's a potential to go out. It's just getting a name. I don't think Uncle is going to go out and start an Instagram page and post every day. He's got other things in his mind, to set on Instagram, because we all know we on Instagram all the time. It takes up a lot of time. So you rather partner with someone like, for example, if Zakiyya posts it on her Insta page, sitting on a coffee table with a book, picture of the book there and everything, hashtag this. And
in truth, I must sort of disagree with you a little bit on that. I think you have to be selective about who you partner with. Zakiyya is a fashion.
No, that was just an example.
Yeah. But but I think that needs clarification. her space is fashion, and her audience might not be interested or even latch onto the book as that. I do think you've got to look at people in the space that you would want to reach out. Your subject, the book subject, is about